Draymond Green, I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know if you have some sort of insecurity. Remember when Draymond Green sent out the Snapchat with the penis pic, the dick pic, his two-toned dick? This is when he first got in the league, and that's fine. He's a young guy. You make mistakes. He sent it on Snapchat. And ever since you sent out that dick pic so long ago, Draymond Green, you've been a menace. And I don't know if it's because you have a two-toned dick or you have some sort of deep-seated insecurity, but you have something wrong with you. And it really bothers me as a true blue Golden State Warrior fan. And I'm sure all Golden State Warrior fans have this feeling. I'm sure that, like I'm a New York Knicks fan, but historically, I've loved the Golden State Warriors. I've loved this run with the Golden State Warriors. I've loved the We Believe Golden State Warriors. I don't have to sell myself. I love Chris Mullin, Run TMC. I was courtside, We Believe, Baron Davis, Steven Jackson. When they dismantled Dirk Nowitzki in his MVP season, I was literally courtside. I had better seats. I was sitting right in front at the Oracle Arena in Oakland. I was sitting in front of one of the creators of Apple. Okay, my seats were better than his. Baron Davis actually got me those seats. I was at that game when they beat the Dallas Mavericks in Dirk Nowitzki's MVP season. I was the guy that brought the broom to Cleveland. Risked my life. Game 3, Cleveland. Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Golden State Warriors. The Kevin Durant Golden State Warriors with Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and of course Draymond Green. I brought that broom. I'm a fan. It's not as like I'm a big fan of the Golden State Warriors as I am of the Knicks, but I do love the Golden State Warriors, and I've had a great time rooting for the Golden State Warriors. But Draymond Green, you make it really difficult to be a Golden State Warrior fan. And I wonder if true blue Golden State Warrior fans have this love-hate, like deep-seated love-hate relationship with Draymond Green. Because the thing we need to accept right now is Draymond Green is not going anywhere. He's got a contract with TNT or TBS. He's got his podcast, and he's going to be around forever. Sell him as the next Charles Barkley. You're not Charles Barkley. You know why? Because Charles Barkley, Draymond Green, has a sense of humor. You have no sense of humor. Now, maybe when you get a little older, you'll get a sense of humor, but you have no sense of humor about yourself. You take yourself entirely too seriously, which is why you probably do the things you do on and off the court. You say the things you do on and off the court. You need to take yourself a little bit less seriously. Listen, you should take yourself seriously about being a basketball player and an intricate part of all the championships and all the success of the Golden State Warriors. But if you're going to talk as much as you do, you at least got to be able to have some perspective on yourself and the things that you've done and the things that you've said. I hope you'll grow into that. And you could be like, I was such a when I played. I was a dirty player. I felt insecure. I felt less than. And I did anything I could to keep myself on the court and to keep myself in the game. Because when you try to hurt players like you've done season after season, when you kick people in the groin over and over and over. Remember when he had like some sort of dick kicking fetish, Draymond Green? Remember that? You've put your team in great positions, but you've also cost them championships. You cost them. Listen, they should have done what they should have done, but you got yourself suspended during the NBA Finals because you can't help yourself. You punched Jordan Poole, albeit Jordan Poole seems like he's annoying, but you punched a guy that looks like the lead singer of DeBarge. All this love is waiting for you. Draymond, you have a problem. And again, I don't know if it's that Draymond is a bad guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's an immature guy. And I think that there's a difference between being a villain on the court and then the things that you say off the court. You're a bully. Like I said, you punched Jordan Poole in the face, and Jordan Poole looks like he's the third guy in Mint Condition. You know the group Mint Condition? Pretty brown eyes. He looks like that guy. But where were you, Draymond Green, when Big Stu, Isaiah Stewart, looked like he was about to pick up and eat Steph Curry a couple of weeks ago? I don't think you want that Big Stu smoke from the Detroit Pistons. I was waiting for Draymond Green to come in with that flying Superman punch like he did with Jordan Poole when Isaiah Stewart kind of approached Steph Curry. And I'm not saying Draymond Green is ussy. I'm not saying he's this, that, and the third. I'm just saying you need to get a sense of humor. You need to get some perspective on yourself. The fact that you talked about Karl Anthony Towns and you suggested a couple of weeks ago that Karl Anthony Towns, big bodega, sat out the game when the Golden State Warriors were playing in New York because he didn't want smoke with Jimmy Butler. And then when you found out that it was because somebody in his family died of cancer, and you make this half-ass personal sort of kind of apology, and you don't just go, you know what, I was totally wrong when I said that. Things are bigger than basketball. I'm Draymond Green. You know who I am. You should be on that Kevin Durant. I'm Draymond Green. You know who I am. He kind of apologized, but he did it in his way, and then he starts plugging his podcast and all that. It's just like, yo, have some class, man. It's called class. You're making so much money. Money can't buy you class. And time doesn't seem to be able to inform Draymond Green of having some class. And the fact that he couldn't just own up and apologize flat out about suggesting that Karl Anthony Towns missed the game versus the Warriors because he was somehow scared of Jimmy Butler is just indicative of who Draymond Green, the same guy who kicked Steven Adams, the same guy that groin flicked LeBron James, he's kicking and flicking dicks and showing his own two-toned piece on Snapchat for years. The same guy that choked Rudy Gobert, the same guy that chest stomped Sabonis, the same guy that is criticizing Stephen A. Smith for what happened with LeBron. How much of LeBron James' balls can you hold in one hand, Draymond Green? Are you able to get both balls in one hand, or do you have to do it like this? You juggle LeBron James's balls. You are the media now. You're like, yo, we're the media. Yes, you're the media. You've become the same guy. You pick on people that you don't respect. You pick on people that you don't like, that you feel like you could bully. You're a bully. You're a bully. And you're talking about Stephen A. Smith, you'll come to LeBron James' defense. You're so enamored with LeBron James. Of course, all these players will go, Stephen A. Smith this, Stephen A. Smith this. So what are you, not going to talk to Stephen A. Smith? Ooh. What are you going to do? Not talk to Kenny and Charles? Ooh. Because you're the media, because you have a podcast now? Ooh. Podcasts are like, everyone has one, including you, Draymond Green. And the last game that the Knicks played in Golden State, they came back. Karl Anthony Towns did play, and Karl Anthony Towns was cracking that ass. He got in some foul trouble. And I got to tell the Knicks, yo, Draymond Green. I don't think we're going to meet Draymond Green again. Draymond Green. He's talking about your guy, and then afterwards, everybody's dapping this guy up and shaking hands. This guy. The only guy who ran through his chest was OG. OG ran through Draymond's chest as he should. What's with all the shaking hands on the court? We're going to see each other in the tunnel. The locker rooms, I don't know if you guys have been in the locker rooms of an NBA arena, but the Lakers are next to the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are right next to the Knicks. You can kiss, hug, take selfies. How's your family? You could do all that when no one's watching, especially when the guy's such. You don't have to dap this guy up, because the same guy that you're dapping up, Draymond Green, is the same guy that will step on your chest, choke you out, and then talk about you on his podcast. And like I said, yes, he did hit a layup versus the Knicks to seal the game. You're 6'8". Of course you should hit a layup. Couldn't be a factor the next night against the jokerless Nuggets. You lost that game. And your championships, Draymond Green, they just don't give you carte blanche to be a chump. Your championships don't give you carte blanche to be a carte chump. If you look at what this guy's done, he's the most physically and mentally abusive player in the league, who overshadows the joy that Steph Curry brings to the game. You somehow, some way have overshadowed at times the joy that Steph Curry brings to the game and brings to the Golden State Warriors. And then Jimmy Butler came there, and yeah, you stepped it up. And I'm rooting for the Warriors, but you make it hard to root for the Warriors. You were out of line with Karl Anthony Towns. You were out of line when you punched Jordan Poole, who again looks like the lead singer of DeBarge. He looks like El DeBarge or Chico DeBarge. That's who you punched. A guy that looks like Chico DeBarge, Draymond Green. But when Isaiah Stewart of the Detroit Pistons looked like he was about to grab your guy Steph Curry, where were you? Well, I didn't see you. I was literally expecting you to come flying into the screen and do something. I think you're a bully. I think you're a bully and a bullshitter. And I think you need to grow up at some point and get some perspective on yourself. Have a sense of humor. Have a sense of humor. Say, yes, I f***ed up that 2016 championship team. I should have never gotten suspended. We were on our way to winning that series, and everything fell apart when I couldn't control myself, and I flicked the penis of my now best friend, LeBron James, my best friend whose balls I juggle. And I will, LeBron James doesn't need you to protect him, Draymond. If someone questions LeBron James or someone questions Bronny James or anything in the LeBron, like Draymond's like, I'm going to come in there and I'm going to say because that's my man. He don't need you. He don't need you to protect him. Trust me, he's fine without you. You've inserted yourself into his world and into his camp. He don't need you out there, Draymond. Get a joke book. Get yourself a joke book, okay? Heading into the playoffs. Lighten up.
I Am Rapaport Podcast.
Tracy Morgan, the great Tracy Morgan, who I've known for years. Tracy's always cool, always funny. What up, Mike? How you doing, Mike? You good? Be on my show. Come be on Last OGs. I got this part I want you to do. Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan is in good health. Tracy Morgan posted something that he's fine, so now we have to make jokes. But it was crazy to see that during the Miami Heat New York Knicks game in Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, and Tracy's at all the games, or a lot of the games. I get free seats. I'm Tracy Morgan. I've been coming here since Bernard King. I sat in the back when Bernard King, me and him used to sniff blow before games. It was me, it was Ghostface, and it was my cousin. We would sniff. And then Bernard got sober. I was in the Garden when Bernard King did 60 points. I was there. I wasn't on the wood, like Hov says, but I was in the Garden when he had 60. With Tracy Morgan. I told the usher that night, I'm gonna put a baby in you. Yo, Tracy Morgan is hilarious. I remember I was at a movie with my friend Toby. We were at a daytime movie. This is like 10 years ago. Toby will remember more. And Tracy was there. It was like a daytime movie at the Grove in LA, the movie theater, the Grove in LA. And it was, we went to go see something. Toby would remember better than I would. We went to go see something, and it was just me, Toby, and Tracy came. He was like, Mike, what's up? What are you going to see? Yeah, yo, let me sit with you. We were bugging out the whole time, and he's just hilarious. Anyway, Tracy Morgan was at the Miami Heat game the other day, and allegedly, he said that he had gotten food poisoning and threw up. It was like second half of the game, and he's courtside, obviously, and he just started throwing up. And there was photos, and then there was videos of him throwing up. And it's crazy because it's Tracy Morgan. And again, he's fine, he's healthy. It's crazy because he's sitting at the game, watching the Knicks beat the crap out of the Miami Heat, who are struggling. I think they've lost 8 in a row. And then he just pukes all over the place. And he had to be put out on a wheelchair. He chose to go out on a wheelchair. And allegedly he has food poisoning. He's fine. And I just can't wait for him to just talk about like, yo, I was in the suite. I go into the suite. You know what I'm talking about, Mike. You was in the suite. I was in the suite with you once before. I had my gold on. I had my jewelry on. I'm eating lobster tails. They got lobster tails in the suite. Most people don't know where the suite is, Mike. Is my Tracy Morgan impression good? I was in the suite, I was eating lobster tails and macaroni and cheese. They got the best lobster tails and the best macaroni and cheese. And then I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna have some of the chocolate chip cookies. And I was downstairs with my man. You see my man, he was sitting next to me. And I threw up. And I was bugging because before I threw up, I was like, yo, I'm my pants. So I had to make a decision, Mike. I had to make a decision. This is Tracy Morgan on Howard. Howard, I had to make a decision. Either I my pants in Madison Square Garden or I throw up on the court. Or both. But I made an executive decision, so I threw up. I didn't think I was gonna throw up, but I was eating lobster tails, macaroni and cheese, and I wasn't even drinking. I'm sober, Howard. I'm sober. I don't eat where everybody else eats in Madison Square Garden, Frankfurters and all that. No respect to Frankfurters and all that, but I don't do that no more. I'm Tracy Morgan. I eat lobster tails and macaroni and cheese. So I had to make a decision. Either I my pants or I throw up, and I decided I'm gonna just throw up. And I know I was being filmed. Like while I was throwing up, I was like, I know this is gonna wind up on ESPN top 10 plays. I know it's gonna wind up on Instagram. I'm Tracy Morgan. I was sick. What am I supposed to do? My pants? But I told them when they was taking me out in the wheelchair, I said, yo, scoop up that good puke. That's penicillin. When I grew up in the projects, we would make that into a soup. My TT, she's Dominican. She's half Dominican, half Puerto Rican. She would make that into a soup. When you threw up, she'd make that into a soup. She'd give it to the whole project. That's real, Conan. Anyway, I don't know I've never done a Tracy Morgan impression, but he's so fun to imitate. I don't know if mine's good. I told my wife when I got home, I said, yo, stick your tongue in my mouth. Taste all of this. If you love me, you'll taste all of my puke. I puked right there. And I told my wife, I said, you my queen. Stick your tongue in my mouth and taste this throw up. It'll keep, you won't get sick. Ivermectin, all that Tylenol. Yo, if you drink my throw up, first of all, it shows that you love me. It shows that you love me and you won't get sick. It's a cure-all. You can put that, if you got ashy feet, it's like a lotion. If you got athlete's foot, it'll cure all that bad breath, heart palpitations. Telling you, my TT, she used to make throw up. When I used to throw up when I was a kid, she would take it and make it into a stew. Give everybody on DeKalb Ave some of that stew. Nobody was sick for 6 months. Tracy Morgan. Another basketball news, fun basketball news, the White Mamba, Brian Scalabrini, friend in real life, friend of the I AM Rapaport stereo podcast. Everybody loves the Mamba. Of course, we interacted fantastically when I was doing the sideline reporting of the Big Three. Always loved the White Mamba. Met the White Mamba when he was playing, I believe when he was playing with the Chicago Bulls the first time. And he come up to me and he like, people say I look like you. He's confrontational, but he's sweet as. Anyway, the Mamba was challenged by a street ball guy who's been getting a lot of love on social media for about the last 2 years, George the Messiah, who seems like a great guy and who loves basketball. He's a total New York character, and I'm not shitting on George the Messiah, his story. He's great, and whatever he's doing. But somehow, some way, George the Messiah, who's all over social media and who plays people one-on-one at West Fortune, he bullies them, and he does like all these, aggressive tricks, and he like makes them look bad. He throws the ball off their head, and da-da-da-da. He said he could beat an NBA player, and he called out the Mamba. Brian Scalabrini, the White Mamba. And the White Mamba showed up on a Saturday morning in a damp pre-spring day and beat George the Messiah 11-0. And George the Messiah and his goons and his cronies, they're like 3-card Monty one-on-one players. They scream at you, they yell at you, they taunt you, they're videotaping you, they're heckling you. George the Messiah's throwing the ball over the fence, la la la. And Mamba showed up and be like, yo, I played with Kevin Garnett. I played with D Rose. I played with the world championship Boston Celtics, Tony Allen, Big Baby Davis and them. You think this is gonna rattle me? And the Mamba looked a little heavy, looked a little out of shape, and the Mamba still won 11-0. And George the Messiah, and anybody else out there, don't get it twisted. Don't call for the white Mamba if you're not ready to deal with the white Mamba or anybody else that has played in the NBA or is currently playing in the G League or who played Division I basketball. There are levels to all of this. I was watching Creighton. I think this kid's name is Answorth. Creighton was playing St. John's. St. John's won the Big East Championship, which has brought back so many memories of the golden days of Louis Carnesecca and Chris Mullin, of course, and Walter Berry and Willie Glass, Mark Jackson, and all those fun St. John's teams, Bill Wennington, and so forth and so on, Shelton Jones. It was great to see Rick Pitino bring them back. There was this kid, Answorth. I think his name was Answorth on Creighton. Looked like a regular sort of white dude. He looks like he's probably 6 feet, probably 180 pounds. I was like, if you put this dude anywhere in the world, he would literally look like Steve Nash against anybody else in the world. He's playing Division I starting point guard at Big East 2025. You know how good you have to be a starting point guard? I don't care if you're mostly a facilitator and you're playing for Creighton or some random school. If you're a Division I basketball player and you start, you go anywhere, literally anywhere for any pickup game, you're going to supersede and look like you're like some sort of superhero. So George the Messiah and anybody else, don't call for the white Mamba, Brian Scalabrini. If you're not ready to deal with Brian Scalabrini and heckling him, pushing him and all that, his big bro, his OG for the Boston Celtics was Kevin Garnett in his prime. Can you imagine the practices? Can you imagine the amount of oppression that Brian Scalabrini has dealt with being a big, tall, super duper white redhead basketball player? The talking, he's had to show and prove his entire basketball life. And he showed and proved the other day at West 4th Street. A Mamba, 11-0. George the Messiah, 0, Mamba, 11. Game over. I'm out. Call me an Uber. I'm done.
I Am Rapaport Podcast.
Khalil Muhammad is still in jail, prison, locked up in Louisiana somewhere. His plight has become worldwide. This guy's a hero, Khalil Mahmoud Khalil. They're saying this is about free speech and he's being targeted and he's being kicked. And I broke it down on the last podcast. I'm not going to reiterate this, but I am going to tell all you Khalil Mahmoud fans. And it's crazy because Khalil Mahmoud, is a Hamas groupie. He adores Hamas. He adores the Houthis. He adores terrorists. And you sickos in the United States on college campuses, and I see in different places worldwide, you adore a guy that adores Hamas and adores terror. It's like a trickle-down effect. It's like, and then more. But I'm going to tell you guys in regards to Khalil Mahmoud, he not coming out. He not getting out. Khalil Mahmoud, you're never going to see him again in the United States. Mahmoud Khalil will never set foot in New York City. Khalil Mahmoud will never, ever, ever get a slice of New York City pizza. He'll never be able to walk the beautiful streets up the Upper West Side where Columbia University is. You'll never be able to saunter around Central Park, which is not too far from Columbia University. You're never going to be able to hang out and chill in New York City ever, ever again, Khalil Mahmoud. And you did it to yourself. So all you people that are screaming and yelling, free Khalil Mahmoud, you're going to have to go visit this in Syria or wherever they ship him. And I want to debut a new song for you people. I am debuting a brand new song for you people, the listeners, the watchers of the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. And it goes a little something like this. Hit the road, Khalil, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Khalil, and don't you come back no more. What you say? Hit the road, Khalil, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Mahmoud, and don't you come back no more, you dumb you. That is a debut. That is a premiere. I'm going to put that up on Spotify. Okay, but for you guys that listen to the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, you guys got it first and you got it for free. The name of the song is Hit the Road, Mahmoud, and don't you come back no more. What'd you say? Hit the road, Mahmoud, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Mahmoud, and don't you come back, you dumb. Be clear, Mahmoud's never come, your hero, your idol. The guy you're screaming and yelling for, it's an L. He ain't getting out. He broke the rules. He broke the law. And you blew it. You blew it, Mahmoud. You blew it. And all the great things about being in the United States, all the great things about being in the greatest city in the world, you took advantage of. I don't know who gassed you up or who told you it was sweet. But like I said, you're never going to have pizza. You're never going to have a hot dog. You're never going to be hanging out in Soho. You're not going to be hanging out with the hipsters. You're never going to a Knicks game, a Rangers game. You ruined all that. For what? You. And here's another chant. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Khalil Muhammad, you got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Khalil Muhammad, you got to go. Hey, hey, what, ho, ho, what, Khalil Muhammad, you got to go, you. All these college campus people, they like chants, screaming and yelling, intimidating, doing all that stuff. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Khalil, you got to go. Hey, hey, what, ho, ho, what, Khalil, you got to go. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. What else is going on? I'm going to Israel. My wife and I are going to Israel next week. We are going to Israel next week. Baruch Hashem. We are going to Israel. We're going to have a great trip. Obviously, I'll be podcasting. I'll be YouTubing from Israel. I cannot wait. And unfortunately, the ceasefire between Israel and Gaza is over. The ceasefire between Israel and Gaza is over because every single proposal, every single opportunity, every single way to end this war and move things forward, Gaza, Hamas has turned down. Everybody's trying to negotiate with these dogs, these pigs, these hyenas. You got Steve Witkoff, you got this person, you got that person, you got Israelis, you got the Qataris, you got everybody's trying to negotiate with these dogs. You got 59 hostages, 5 Americans. And I'm going to tell you something. In the last few hours, Israel has started air attacks on Gaza. And the only thing I was thinking about is those 59 hostages. I am praying for them. This is not great. This is not like celebrate. This is not anything to be happy about. It's something to be concerned about. It's something to be gravely concerned about. There are 24 hostages that are alive, 5 Americans, 1 American who is alive from New Jersey, Eden Alexander. All I was thinking about is I hope and pray that they are safe. And it's crazy because somehow, some way, they can keep themselves safe and hostages safe because I don't know if you know this, Gaza is 28 miles long. Let's say 7 miles. It's between 5 and 7 miles wide at different points. 28 miles long, let's say between 5 and 7 miles wide. This tiny little strip of land, beautiful land, which is causing so much trouble in the world. And they have 400 miles of tunnels. You know how crazy that is? 27 miles long, 7 miles wide, yet they've built 400 miles of tunnels below, weaving, bobbing, going below and below and below and below and below. This is what they've spent the last 20-something years on. And who's not allowed to go into those 400 plus miles of tunnels? Who's not allowed to go into those 400 plus miles of tunnels? Any civilian from Gaza. They don't allow them in. There's a rainstorm. It could be a snowstorm, bombing. The civilians aren't allowed to go in there. Only Hamas. But I'm just praying that the hostages are safe. I am praying for Israel, and I'm praying for the destruction of Hamas. I am so glad that America has started attacking the Houthis, the pirates. And again, I don't scoff at that. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. I don't want any lost lives of any Americans, but these pirates of the Houthis, these Hezbollah, Iran, so forth and so on, it's gone on and on and on and on. I don't know if this was premeditated, calculated, but a couple of nights ago, America started banging the Houthis. Israel started banging Syria. And then boom, after yet another hostage negotiation failed, Israel was like, F it. And I don't think it's dope. I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's sexy. I'm not like, let's kick ass. I just want our hostages to be safe. I want the hostages to be freed. And I want the people of Israel to be left alone. Leave the people of Israel alone. It's never happening. You're never taking over Israel. Hamas, it's not happening. You can try, you can pray, you can do all this goofy and this book says that and that book says, it's never, ever, ever happening. You want to end the war? Bring back free, release all the hostages. Come out with your hands in the air, butt ass naked. We need to strip you. Because we know you like to blow yourselves up because you think you're going to be martyrs. Come out with your hands in the air, butt ass naked, and surrender, you. You're not martyrs. You've been misled. You've been misled. You've been miseducated. You've been bamboozled. You've been hoodwinked, led astray. You're not martyrs, and you're not taking over Israel. There is no from the river to the sea. It is not happening. Anyway, I'm done. I'm fighting this cold. I am 55. Tell a friend to tell a friend about the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. And Miles Jordan, a.k.a. the Bleach Brothers, a.k.a. the Dust Brothers, take me at it with something real nice. Take me at it with something real loud. But most importantly, end this puppy with something real funky. It's the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. I'm out, baby.
I Am Rapaport Podcast.
Yo. Have you subscribed? Have you rated? Have you reviewed? Have you left a comment? Have you asked a question? Leave a comment. Ask a question. I see them all. I try to answer all of them. Thank you for watching.